Hey everybody, Veronica Ray here from intuitivepathways.net, here to bring you the truth about psychic predictions and timing during a reading. Here are a couple of suggestions of things not to do while you're in the process of getting a reading and when you leave the reading. Don't panic. Don't panic because it's very difficult for a reader to connect with your spirit when you're frantic or when you're crying and when you're really worried. It's not to say that they still can't read you. It just depends on the psychic medium, the tarot card reader, whoever it is you're going to see, okay? So just keep it calm as much as you can. If you know you're upset, cancel your appointment, change it, do whatever you have to do, but please come to the table as relaxed as possible and as open-minded as you can possibly be. Another thing you need to keep in mind is that if you constantly ask the same question over and over again to a psychic during a reading, most likely you're not going to get a different answer. It's always the first answer your reader gives you that will have the most accuracy in your reading. So please do yourself a favor and try not to manipulate the situation just because you really want something bad or you really don't want something to occur. The final thing that I really think you need to understand is once you leave the reading and we let it go and we try and move on with our lives, if you cling on to it or the timing, so the prediction or the timing, then know that you're probably going to drive yourself crazy and we don't want to see that happen to you, okay? So release yourself from the dwelling cycle and focus on something that is neutral. So for example, if you call a reader or you get a Skype reading, whatever you do regarding your love life, try and change your focus to your career. Whatever you can do to detach from that situation, those predictions, and refrain from getting an immediate update, that will help a great deal. My issue with people getting constant updates is this: you're not getting any different answers. If the time frame hasn't passed, it's best that you don't call for an update on that subject. If you think you're going to feel better by hearing a yes, it's not true because you're waiting for it to happen, and if it doesn't happen on time or the way you want it to, then of course you're going to be up shit's creek. Just because a psychic says something's going to happen means it's going to happen immediately. Well, that's not true. They can make a prediction for 4 weeks from today that an event will occur. Let's say you're waiting on someone to call you and they're supposed to call you roughly 4 weeks from the time of your reading. They could call a few days later, they could call a few days before, and sometimes you will find that you don't get the call for at least a couple more weeks. Some of you may be confused at this point, wondering, well, why bother getting a reading if we're not 100% sure that we're going to have a prediction happen on the exact time that this particular person told me it would happen? Well, we're not here to predict every movement that the other person's going to make or that you're going to make. We're going to get a general overview of what is to come based on the current energy of the circumstances. You get advice and you go against it, and then the opposite of what you want happens. Well, I can't help you there. You didn't listen to the advice. If you weren't sure what you were supposed to do, the best choice is to do nothing. Zero, zip, zilch, and do not get consistent psychic readings in the meantime while you're waiting for a prediction to happen. The reason for this is that you're going to cloud up the energy. You're thinking too much. You're not living your life, which is a big problem, okay? We definitely don't want you to be unhealthy. We want you to live a healthy, happy life. But if you're waiting on something to happen, you're not going to feel really good. Your body's going to be affected by some of the thought processes you may come up with. And usually what happens is that people dwell on a situation and create all kinds of scenarios in their head. When people cling on to timing with predictions, that makes things way worse. The prediction's one thing, okay? But the timing is another. And I feel like, based on my experience over 20 years doing this work, with tools, without tools, Timing is the ultimate killer. Well, one, you have to let it go. Let it go, baby. Walk away from your notes. You're done with it. Number two, you have to live your life. You need to trust that things are going to happen the way they're supposed to. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay, we'll figure it out later. And number three, if the prediction does happen, whether it's on time or not, accept the damn thing. Accept it as is. Don't try and change it. Don't try and make it look different in your head. Just the person called or you got that job. But if the details weren't 100% of what you wanted, please accept the fact that this was a package deal.